So suppose you have these two houses. Now on paper, the one on the left is a lot smaller and it looks like the one on the right is more desirable. But look closer. If you see there, the blue spot is the open room. That's the space that you can actually live in, put stuff in, etc. But the green stands for unmovable occupied space, so some kind of matter that can't be moved for some reason. And so wouldn't there be a deception if somebody were to say, "Oh yeah, this house is bigger. Buy this house. This is such a desirable house." Even though the relevant distinctive that it is offering is actually no more valuable than the small house down there on the left. And so keep this analogy in mind. And also keep in mind this third house right here, one that is actually desirable. So the question of value. Now I do believe that all those who are made in God's image have an intrinsic value and dignity due to being made in God's image. That's not the sense of value I'm talking about here. I'm talking about more of like a relational value, like the kind of value like I want to be with that person, that kind of value. And to introduce and start this argument, I want to talk about the man who loads up a browser, loads up a website, finds a video, and sits behind the screen fantasizing about how amazing it would allegedly be to have sex with that woman. It's just this strong sense of jealousy, the end result. And by the end result, I'm talking about this sense of immediate shame and disgust and regret and remorse following the act of PMO, where one is disgusted and repulsed, frantically closing the tabs. This is disgusting. Why am I doing this? I hate this. Get this out of here. That kind of immediate, understandable repulsion because of how disgusting PMO is. This kind of like repulsion after lust. And there's like many reports of this, like people having this sense of like emptiness and regret and disgust, having had sex with somebody that's just grounded in lust. But compare that kind of disgust and like that post PMO regret to like if you just imagine like someone in a loving, committed, loyal, intimate, godly marriage, and when they finish having sex, are they like, oh, get away from me, I'm disgusted by you, I don't want to be like, no, that's not what would happen in that kind of situation. So you see there's some kind of distinction here. And I want to make the point, if you are a guy watching this video, you may, Lord willing, one day want to marry a girl and to love them and for them to love you and to commit to them and for them to commit to you, to have a great marriage and to raise children with that person. But this is important. That kind of woman won't do that. That kind of woman, these OnlyFans models, these porn stars, these women whose goal is to present themselves lustfully, these are not the kind of women who are going to commit to you, who you can marry, who is going to be there for you when things are going rough. That kind of woman's not going to commit to you or lovingly raise your children. And so I put here your hand, and this is where I start getting to like the crux of the argument and the core, basically what I'm getting at, which is that intimacy-less sex is no better than masturbation. You want a woman who you can marry, commit to, who will commit to you, share true loyal love with, raise a family with, etc. You want true emotional connection, the kind that cuddles after sex rather than that post regret of frantically closing tabs or like in 2 Samuel 13. You want sexual sensation with that woman too, but the reality is lustful women aren't going to bring any of those things besides sensation. And when sensation is isolated from those other things, it really is no better than masturbation and is even worse in many ways. How useless is that? How low value is a woman who can give you no more than your own hand can? So I hope you see what I mean by this argument, because I think it's a very strong argument and it redirects towards what is more valuable. Because the kind of woman who you can marry, who would commit to you, who you can have that loving, committed, loyal connection with, the kind of woman who would lovingly raise your children, that kind of woman is so much more unscalably valuable than these OnlyFans models, than these porn stars, than these kind of women. Again, you already know where the hand leads to. You remember that end result I was talking about, that sense of shame and regret and disgust and why am I doing this? I don't like this. This is nonsense. This is useless. This is hurting my life. I want to be better than this. This is wrong. I don't want to be in this situation. You already know what that leads to. And my argument is that those women can bring nothing beyond that. So you just think about it, like go back earlier into the video when I was talking about like that man behind the screen. The man behind the screen who's sitting there with jealousy. Well, my argument basically is that the man is sitting there jealously wishing he was the man in the video, but the man in the video is not actually getting really a better experience than the man who's sitting behind the screen watching it. Because get this, both of them are seeking mere sensation, void of actual loving intimacy and emotional connection. The kind of pursuit of lust and mere sensation that leads to the same repulsion that is present in 2 Samuel 13, that is present post PMO, and that would be present being with those women, because you already know what their value is, and that value is so low. And why desire that kind of woman?